far away that camera is outside. It's like it could be an off-lead, it's so far away. Okay. So this is a Land Rover Discovery. Land Rover, which is a great name because, you know, it suggests historical coolness, toughness, being able to go anywhere, do anything. That's what Land Rover suggests to you every time. This is the Discovery, and in the UK we'll say this, I think this costs about £48,000, give or take. In Ireland it costs about €58,000. That's starting out, right? Now we have an insane tax over here called VRT, which is Vehicle Registration Tax. If you use an indicator, that wouldn't happen to it. Lovely Vehicle Registration Tax, which is the total and utter rip-off and a completely illegal tax. But yet, we're charged that in Ireland. And the reason that we're charged that is so we don't all run over to the UK and buy cars there and do dealers out of money over here. But the problem is, the biggest competition the Land Rover Discovery has is Range Rover. You may think it's a BMW X5 or an Audi Q7 or something along those lines, but I absolutely assure you, the biggest competition this car has right now is a Range Rover Velar, which is basically the same car. But why the Velar is a bit cheaper than this, but looks extraordinarily better. Now this car looks brilliant around the front, and the side-on view is pretty good as well. But the rear end, lads, what were you thinking? What's going on at the rear end? This is 7-seat, I get it. It's really good in that respect. Like, the 7 seats do actually work as well. I've had the little kids in the back seats, and it's all been brilliant. Like, I love it. But I don't love it enough to not buy a Range Rover. Especially when they're not that far off, same price. Even a Range Rover like, you know, the Range Rover, they just call it Range Rover these days. The Vogue one is the best way of thinking of it. Even that's about 20 grand more than this. So, you know, that's the problem. The competition is coming from within rather than without. Still, I love the Land Rover, but I cannot excuse a number of factors. One, I've only had that since Tuesday, and I've had 3 full-blown errors come up on the screen for me. One of them was tyre pressure, which I immediately addressed and went to the local petrol station, and the tyre looked okay. I pumped it to the correct pressures. I checked the pressures of all the tyres. I started the car, and it still complained about the left or right rear tyre. So I checked it again. I pumped them again, and it still complained. I went to a different... This didn't look like it was going on to me. The pressure looked fine. I went to a different petrol station. I pumped it again, and the lights went down. All was well until that afternoon when I went to collect the kids from school, and when I get out of the car, all is well. When I get back in, I have this massive thing on the dashboard saying, something wrong with the suspension. Your speed has been restricted to 50 kilometers an hour. I'm going, what's after happening there? So I was in traffic when this light came on the dashboard, and I pulled up, getting stuck behind cars. I kept going, is there anything I can do here? Click OK to continue. I clicked OK, I did all the stuff, nothing. Stuck to 50 kilometers an hour all the way home. Got home, went inside, went online, checked some forums, checked around, found that this is a, well, I won't say a common problem, but it looks like it's getting reported a bit on the internet. I go back outside, I turn the car on. The error hasn't come back since. Now, colloquial stories aside, Land Rover hasn't got a great heritage when it comes to reliability. And like in less than a week in a press car, I've had 3 errors. I got the tire pressure one twice. I've had the suspension one once. Like, what else? What else can you say? I love this car. I like looking out the window at people up and down the street going, hello peasants, I know you can't afford a car like this, but hello. But you know what? At 58 grand, we'll say 60 grand, right? 60 grand. What else can you buy in Ireland for €60,000? a well-spec'd Audi A6, maybe? Can you get an Audi Q7 for that money? Is it as expensive as people are telling me it is? It feels luxurious. It certainly is. It has the thirst of a luxurious car. It's currently doing 8.5 litres per 100 kilometres, which is the most efficient I've ever had out of a car of its type. But it's not very efficient for a car. Like a diesel car should be getting about 5 to 6 litres per 100 kilometres. I like the things on the dashboard. When this works, and it's not working right now, but every so often this does work, and that there it goes. There it is. That opens, you see, and the air conditioning thing goes up here. Isn't that just cool? I think that's cool. It's like a big hole in the dash now where the air conditioning should be, but it doesn't always open. It's kind of difficult. There is a center console thing, this thing in here, which is so big, I'm sure it causes echoes when you open it up. Hello? You could lose a baby in there. Seriously, that's a big hole. That's brilliant. Perfect. The touchscreen thing. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced, Range Rover. It's really laggy. Like you press something and it lags on the screen. It takes forever to happen. And when you connect up your phone or your media thing, whatever it is, it takes forever to read the thing and start playing from it. It's really slow. And I know I had that complaint before with the Range Rover Evoque as well. It had a very laggy interface. It still has. That needs to be addressed in this day and age. Graphics cards and chips and motherboards and things are just so cheap these days. There shouldn't be a problem here. This should be just done. No problem. Maneuverability, yeah, steering wheel goes around like a bus, which is okay. I expect that to happen. The engine is quite responsive, although there is quite a lag spike between putting your foot down and actually receiving the power from the car. You know, when you it takes a long time for that to come, that surge. And there isn't really any sports settings or anything, but there is some other settings that I can do here. I have this thing down here, right? It's a little wheel, and in the wheel it's like car, and then you can kill snow, which is good. You can kill trees, then you can kill cactuses. Then you can kind of kill rocks, I think that is. And that one there is to be able to climb a glacier, I think. And that one over there is to come down a very slight slope. And then on here I have a limiter. I have, I think that turns off the engine in start-stop mode. Traction control off, and then I can adjust the ride height for off-road, or for access height it's called, which allows the car to kind of sit down you know, when you want to get in. Now it does that when you get out anyway. As soon as you get out of the car, it does this kind of hunker down thing, so when you get back in it feels the right height. I am on Twitter at Bob Flavin. I am on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram these days, at Bob Flavin as well, should you want to reach me there. But the most important part, of course, is that I love you. And you've been brilliant at supporting this channel. I absolutely adore what you've done. You've been supporting on Patreon. You guys that are on Patreon, still on Patreon, is absolutely lovely. I'd be delighted for you to continue doing that. I'd love to add more people to my Patreon account, which is perfect because it's beautiful. The financial support there is completely necessary. Don't get me wrong, YouTube is completely useless at giving money these days. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've subscribed at this point. If you haven't, please do. Until the next time, I will see you on the far side.